Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the BTB Movie Club podcast. My name is Ryan Malo. We hope you enjoy today's movie discussion. Thanks for listening.
Hey, welcome to the BTB Movie Club. My name is Tim Larson, here to discuss a movie with some family and friends. We are on 2017's The Last Movie Star. This was picked by Ryan Malo. Hey, Malo, tell us why you made this pick, and then run with it, brother. What do you got for us today?
Yeah, the short version is it seemed the most interesting. I think I covered this a little bit last time. There was so many different. So I also had Sandra Bullock to choose from, and a lot of different choices, a lot of things that I think could have been fairly fun. But when it came down to it, I just don't trust a lot of the 70s stuff, and definitely not 80s stuff to hold up.
Whoa.
Well, hey. I've got some stuff on that actually, but anyway,
The Golden Child is a fantastic movie, and I'll fight you over this.
Yes.
I'm not arguing. Is Burt Reynolds in that?
No.
Well, you just categorically said 80. Oh, you meant Reynolds.
He was defending any
70s.
80s movie.
Yes. No. I'm a child of the 80s. I'm speaking of Burt Reynolds, Cop and a Half, and
okay.
Cop. I don't know.
I withdraw my comment.
Okay. All right, so yeah, last movie starts seemed fairly interesting. I was trying to, I don't know, I'm not good at this. I guess I lost the lesson planning skills years ago. But so you guys that do like questions and fun stuff, like I came up with a couple ideas, and I didn't really like any of them, so I didn't really stick with any of that. The closest I got was I was going to go in order of age, which I'm not even 100% sure of. I'm fairly certain Dan is the leader in the group. Then I think it goes Tim, but I don't know.
That is correct.
All right, so you are up, sir.
Oh, excellent. This feels like ageist. So watched it this morning. Just for the record, put my dog down on Monday, and thank you for picking a movie where the opening scene is a sad man taking his dog to be put down at a vet. That was a really nice shot in the ribs. Thanks for that, Malo. Appreciate it. Smoking the Bandit's a fine movie. You know what I mean? So I watched it this morning, and my first reaction was it's a little slow. Like, to get moving, the pacing of this thing was a little slow, and the music was kind of drony. And I think that was on purpose. They were trying to set the stage for the condition of this man's life and kind of how sad he is. And I feel like I could have got that in 5 minutes instead of giving me a good 17 minutes of slow stuff. Chevy Chase was kind of awkward in this movie. I like when they would laugh at the sitting at the table. I don't know. I didn't find that to be very believable. It seemed odd to me, and I don't know, maybe you guys can comment on that if you felt it was different, but just seemed like an odd role for Chevy Chase to be in, and I don't know that he did that well with it. And so, I'll just throw that out there. So then we get moving along into this movie. The girl is obnoxious, and this seems very overly cooked as far as just how bad the assistant service is, with the car and the shorts and the ass cheeks and the phone usage, almost running into somebody in the car, like food in the back seat, like everything you could possibly put in there to make it look like she doesn't care and is not invested in this is in there, to the point where I was like, why are you just bludgeoning me over the head with this? I get it, So I have faults with the movie for that. I think it overplayed its card with the setup. I did enjoy the concept of somebody sending out a award ceremony and making it look like it's legit and faking out a star, because I could see this group of people pulling off that exact same thing. And we would feel like we're doing like this great communication thing, just like the BTB Movie Club. We would have the BTB awards, and we could rent out a bar, and we could do a movie showing in a bar and pretend that we're actually something. So I did find the comedy of that to be pretty lighthearted and fun. And then at the end, when he's going through the stuff with his first wife, and is battling with his certain situations and being drunk all the time and finding through this experience some kind of perspective on life. I didn't mind the story. Like I liked the takeaway from there. I I just feel like we could have done a better job putting this movie together is what I'm saying. So I probably wouldn't rank it very high if I was doing numbers out of five. Could find holes all over it. However, I didn't dislike this movie at all. Like I enjoyed watching it. I took something away from it. It made me feel like, I'm getting older since you pointed that out, Malo. Um, and there's certain perspective things that you should probably look at. So I do like movies where you take something away from it. Um, I thought um, I thought he did a great job acting. That's the one real shining moment here for me was him acting in this movie. So, um, yeah, I mean those are my initial thoughts. And then when you guys have better thoughts and more articulate, maybe I'll chime in and tell you that you guys are right uh, later on.
Appreciate it. All right. I one of two here. Aaron, you up next?
Nope,
Oh, Brian. Then.
It would be me. Yes.
All
he is
right.
quite a bit younger than I am.
As
Yeah.
I am to Brian.
No, actually, Tim and I are closer than you and I, Aaron. Tim and I are 9 months apart, 10 months apart, and Aaron and I are 11. So, um, Tim, you did leave out the part he got a dog at the end of the movie. So,
I'm emotionally blocking that presently.
gotcha. Okay. Um,
I haven't taken the fence down yet in the backyard.
so the assistant, that is, I believe her name is Ariel Winter.
Okay.
She played a very conservative role on Modern Family, very smart, genius girl. So this was a breakout kind of outside the norm role for her.
Oh, okay. I like that.
And so I think the way I don't know if it's the way they wrote it or how she played it, but I think that had a lot to do with it. And I heard she took a lot of shit for doing this and that, being half naked most of the movie. Well, and it was the idea was I want to get out of my comfort zone and I want to completely change myself. So I thought that was pretty good. I mean, it's basically I don't know. I would like to see the original script to see if, they wrote this movie about an aging actor that they give the award to. And then, or did this guy like just love Burt Reynolds and write it? Because I mean, he was a stuntman first who ended up becoming a Hollywood actor who became this huge
Burt Reynolds
person.
was?
Yeah. Burt
Okay.
Reynolds started as a stuntman
Okay.
and then turned into an actor from that. So, and he was portrayed as an Indian in some of his, or Native American, sorry. I don't
Hey,
care.
look at you.
But he was portrayed that in his early career. So, in one of his early, I think it was a '70s movie though, Hooper, he was playing a stuntman in the movie and just didn't care. It's actually a pretty good movie. My mom had the hots for Burt Reynolds and we watched a lot more movies than we should have. But,
Aunt Susie.
Cannonball Run stuff. He was in, Smokey and the Bandit and, like that Hooper one. Oh, I was just thinking of the one. Anyways, there was a lot of Burt Reynolds stuff and he went away for a while, and I think Boogie Nights was the one that kind of brought him back. So I did, Longest Yard, the original Longest Yard, he was great in that too.
Of course. Yeah.
But yeah, this was when they used the special effects and had him kind of having conversations with himself as a younger person. That was, I'm not going to say genius, but it was, well used technology.
It was cool, right? There was some
yeah.
cool scenes.
The guys who created the award, it's like, I didn't lie to you, but I didn't. They didn't. De Niro and Clint Eastwood, they just didn't show, you know.
Yeah.
But these guys, you know, they give them credit. They work for a year, save their money up. They throw this film festival for somebody, hoping they show up. You know, then he gets there. Just coincidentally, he's from that area, and he's got a wife, an ex-wife, his first ex-wife, who, you know, they lost their daughter, so that strained them. And you know, he goes to visit her and sits down, and he's just like, you know, hi, it's the most special moment. And she's like, who are you? You know,
Yeah.
just crushing.
Yeah.
But then the flip the switch on that was just awesome because it's like they kidnap her, they take her to the spot where he, you know, proposed to her the first time. Hopefully she remembers him because it was they have this big smooch, or it's assault. But you know, it was just they and again, they quicken the pace of the movie because they didn't draw that all out. That's
Right.
while he's giving his speech, is getting the award, and they show that, and it was like the oh shucks moment. So uh, I'm glad, and I don't know the assistant's name in the movie, but she figures out Bjorn's a dick, and he's
Lil?
you know cheating
Lil?
on her. Lil, yeah, you know, and you know, obviously Vic Edwards realized it right away and tells her, you know, hey, the guy's a piece of shit. And she's like, how do you know? And it's I kind of, you know, the from Mallrats, Jason Lee, the, you know, we can smell our own comment always comes out to me when I see something like that. But yeah, it was I thought it was a really good movie. I really enjoyed it, and I thought it was well done from beginning to end. I didn't have a lot of issues with it, and it was, you know, 2 hours of time that I enjoyed watching a movie. So I think that's when everything's said and done. You know, and we hammer some movies sometimes, and I listen to some other podcasts on guys who it cracks me up because they sit there and they shit on a movie for an hour during a podcast, and then when they get done, and they're like 8 out of 10. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about, you idiots? You just completely shit on everything about this movie, and then you want to say, "Oh yeah," but just the scale of, hey, when I left the movie or when I got done watching it and the credits started in my house, I felt good. I think that is a good standard to have for a movie. So,
Well, what
Balo,
would you
thank
give
you
it
for
out
the
of 5?
pick. I don't use numbers, Tim. I just said that.
But
It's my fun,
I
my
mean, you're
fun
judging
versus
other
fun.
people for their numbers. I'm just trying to get a number out of you.
I would throw this probably
Give it a
three
if you hit the
five
ball,
to
how many
4.
bases?
Okay.
I
So
give it a
I
second
would
base.
I give it a solid B.
Okay.
Nice. I was thinking about that today. Like we've been doing this for quite a while, and I don't think I'm very good at articulating what it is. Like it's so much more a feel thing. So much, you know what I mean? Like, um, kind of a lot of what Brian was just saying right there. That you know, that's the measure at the end, and I do think we're a pretty forgiving group. You know, we understand what they were trying to go for, and I like that about this, that it's not just finding things to pick apart, because they're there, and I definitely have some with this, but yeah, I it's kind of funny, Brian, because like I said, I literally was thinking about it today that, you know, I don't always have the words, but I know how I feel about the stuff and where that measures up. All right, Brian. Or I mean, Aaron. Sorry.
Happens more than you know. Um, Going with what these guys said, the only thing different I would say is um enjoyed it, glad I watched it. Could have been an hour 10. Is I all I think is there was a lot of things that were just not just a little too long, but maybe twice as long as they should have been. Some of the car rides, um, some of the just a scene with him standing there or sitting there, or you know, I get what they were trying to do, and a lot of that, Malo, you were saying, you know, we're a forgiving group, and yeah, I see what they were trying to do. I get it. Um, it was just, I wish they would have tightened it up a bit, like to use maybe comedians, can you do a tight 10? Just tighten it up a bit. And I don't know if they were trying to hit what it run, hour 45 or something, hour 42.
I thought it was 134 when I first looked last week, but I don't know.
Okay.
felt
103,
longer than
103
that.
minutes. So yeah, hour 43.
Okay. Yeah, like I think hour 10 might have helped out. But didn't hate it. Tim, if I was to give it a score, I 2.5 I think is pretty solid out of 5.
Yeah. I'd be in the
I don't
same
think
area.
I couldn't crack the B range. But C minus,
Mhm.
there were some things that I really, really liked about it. The ending I thought was nice, not just that it ended. So that makes it good. Um,
That's usually a Brian comment. I watched it. It ended. Moving on.
right. Another ratings, and I don't know because this wouldn't work for every movie, but it was definitely wouldn't call it a full-fledged cry, but there was definitely a tear up um, with the mom scene in the old house when he saw his mom cooking. Like, I don't know why. And that was one where maybe, I would have said if it wouldn't have got me emotional, it probably would have been a little too long of him staring in the kitchen
Mhm.
with the girl, that lived there standing over his shoulder. I'm like, all right, this is 3 minutes. Um, but because it hooked me, I was like, yep, that was perfect. Perfect scene. Loved it. Um, just to go with to add on with what Tim and Brian already said. So Chevy Chase, I thought was a weird choice. I think it had more to do with maybe who was available, and they figured it was a star of that caliber. I didn't dig into the making of it. I guess I should probably go with Brian first, what Brian was saying. Because I did click on a few things as I was watching it. This had to have been Burt Reynolds' involvement from the start, because this is basically Burt Reynolds' story. He played college football. He hurt his knee. He became an actor because he couldn't play football anymore. He's from Flint, Michigan, though. No, he's from Lansing, Michigan,
Yes.
not Tennessee, not Montgomery, Tennessee. So I
And he
thought
moved to
that
Florida.
kind of sucked.
He's
That they
also
didn't
not
get any.
Jewish, so
Right, I was going to say that too. I have it written down. The whole Jewish thing, I think, was just to talk, why, he changed his name, or, whatever. I don't know, but I do have not Jewish written down. Um, Brian had picked up the resurrection of his career was kind of Boogie Nights. I think Striptease was either right before it or right after it. So I thought it was Striptease, where he played a real weirdo in that one. I guess he's a weirdo in kind of both of them. Um, but was there anything else from? Oh, the another part that was like his real. So the lady who played his wife also played a love interest in an actual movie. I think it might have been his first movie, Gunsmoke.
Oh,
So that really was like a connection there.
that's cool.
Is that her in the clip they show right after?
Yes, that is the black and white. I think
Yeah,
it is.
yeah. Yep.
Yeah, you're right. They do show it right after. Something Nolan. But
That's
they
cool.
never got married or anything, but they were in an early movie together. So, and then,
All right, I'm up
she
to
played
2.7. I just went all the way up to 2.7.
just because they got that actress to play the
Yes.
wife in this.
Because
Okay.
I didn't get teared up with the mother scene. I didn't tear up at all, but one thing that I was kind of like, this is really cool, is when they went and got the seaweed when he hijacked her out of the place and took her back to that spot. I was like, that's pretty cool.
See,
So
I'm one thing I liked that whole thing. It's one of the times also that it's a little disjointed, a little far fetched, whatever. The cops would have been there immediately. They
100%.
never would have made it
I
to
was
the
going to ask Brian
boardwalk.
about that. Like, what's the scenario when that happens?
my place, they wouldn't have got to the door. I mean, that, but nursing homes, people get out all the time because and it has to do with I mean, not to get on a soapbox or anything or do an errand tangent, but I'm gonna, um, the state gets involved too much and is now, when it comes to nursing homes and such, people have the right to do things. Even cracked out seniors who don't fucking think anymore for themselves. And hopefully
Brian's
somebody listens
opinions
to
do
this where
not.
well, no, but they're allowed to fall out of bed. You can't put guardrails up because they're allowed to fall out of bed for their own, so now they can fall and break their hip. If they want to leave the facility, you can't stop them because they have the right to leave and you can't hold them. So in a nursing home situation, yeah, it's a completely, uh, they call the cops and get them back, but they're going to walk out. So
The only thing different I would say, and I don't know what the old lady was saying at the time, but you got a young girl swinging a cane at
Right.
nurses
Yeah.
trying to get out. The person at the desk is dialing 911 because it
Yeah.
definitely looks like a kidnapping. And they know she has dementia, so even if she's saying, let's go, Johnny,
Mhm.
it's probably not her, you know. Um, but anyway,
Well, the other
so
thing is the aide who like dropped her off wouldn't have walked away. They would have kind of stuck around and
Right.
hey,
been at the door. But I liked the idea of the scene, Malo, knowing what they were going for. Um, I thought having the seaweed in the pocket after they just came straight from there. He had the seaweed because he dove in after the ring and came up with the seaweed. I thought having the seaweed was a bit heavy-handed. Because it's like, where did he get it? Is it just grass that he tied? Found some long grass on the way. I would have felt better if it had like a little dandelion or something attached to it, showing us it was just something he grabbed from the ground rather than it being actual seaweed. Just, like I said, I thought it was a little ham-handed. Um, but I liked the idea of what they were going for. Um, the whole, Brian, you said it, the Ariel Winters, the girl from Modern Family. I don't really see this as what do they call it when they make a movie for a young actor? There's a name for it,
Showcase or something.
something like that. But it's to get it's their big push at the start. And I know she was going from TV to movies. But if it wasn't for Burt Reynolds and all of this being about Burt Reynolds' life, I would have definitely thought it was a vehicle. Don't they call it a vehicle for her to break out? And maybe it was a dual thing. Maybe she was involved kind of early, and they knew they were going to kind of set this role up, kind of, lack of a better term, skanky, just for her, so she could kind of shed that Mensa image that she had from the TV show. But I liked her character. I get what you guys were saying. A lot of the stuff there was heavy-handed too. I thought she did the best she could with what she was given. I
take
thought
that.
she did a really good job acting. I would blame a lot of the decisions we might not like about her character on direction. Not necessarily what she had to do with it. The only other one I would talk about is her brother. I looked him up. He was Doug in the movie, Clark Duke. I love that dude from Thunder Mifflin. He was in the later episodes. He was one, that was brought in as like an intern, and he was, you know, Dwight kind of claimed him as his son at one time. I thought that was all funny. So anything I've seen him in, I've liked. And I thought, once again, he did the best he could with what he was given. And I thought it was pretty good. I liked his part in the whole thing, as well as his friends, the cohort in the festival, and the cameraman that was trying to make a documentary. But yeah, overall, liked it. 2.5. I think it's pretty solid. Glad I watched it. Glad I know it exists. I was super happy to see Burt Reynolds do as well as he did. I was nervous he was going to be out of it, and somebody just got a hold of him and roped him into something that he might not have wanted to do or wasn't completely, coherent about, but I think he nailed it. He was great. And hopefully he was, cognizant right up till the end because he died shortly after this. So glad I watched it. Glad I saw it.
Cool. Thanks. For those keeping track at home, age-wise, I would fall in next year, but we're gonna right off to Matt Smith.
All right. I really liked this movie. I liked it way more than I thought I was going to. I wasn't really sure what I was getting into. The writer did say this is basically about Burt Reynolds. And he said if it wasn't Burt Reynolds in it, he wouldn't have made the movie. So that kind of tells you a little bit. Obviously, they changed a bunch of stuff about the story, the where he grew up, the Jewish thing, some of that stuff, but it basically was supposed to be like a tribute to him. And I think they changed some of the Tennessee stuff just because they liked the filming location. I think I read that they just like really liked the location, so they just changed a bunch of stuff to Tennessee to make it fit because they were there anyway. I thought that was interesting. No, I really liked it. At some point, you guys were talking about Lil, and it just popped in my head, so I'm going to talk about this first. I at some point like really thought in my head like, is this movie going to be about her now? Like, are they switching it to like her and how she's learning her lessons from this guy? And I don't know. I know that's not what they were going for, but like at some point in the movie, I'm like, are they gonna flip over and say this is about her and like her journey to growing up? But obviously that didn't happen. She was also the voice of Sophia the First. I'll have you know. So
Oh,
She does a lot of voice acting.
yeah, she does do a lot of voice acting. So, to Aaron's point, like you might be right. Maybe this is a way for her to be like, look, I'm not the Disney little girl actress. I'm a real actress. So put me in slutty clothes and give me a nose ring. I don't know. I don't
Even
know.
slutty clothes. It was just trashy stuff.
Yeah,
Who's Sophia
yeah.
the First?
It's a Disney TV
Okay.
show for little
Okay.
kids.
She's the mother of Sophia the Second.
Oh,
And I think that's commonly referred to as a septum ring. A nose ring, usually denotes up through the septum ring, I think is.
Anyway, yeah, I thought it was sad watching this, but I was also it was sad like to watch him go through it, like him realizing like I'm okay, like I think he knows he's kind of washed up, but like he basically goes to this place and like you guys are just a bunch of losers watching movies in their basement. Like, what am I doing here? Like, I'm really stupid. And he's kind of a jerk, and you're like, okay, that was kind of a jerky thing. But I also totally get it. They tricked you. I'm sorry. You can say anything you want about like those people tricked him into coming, and so they deserved everything they got, in my opinion. But then to watch him kind of go full circle and go, no, like, okay, I'm an a-hole, but you guys are just wanting to give me my due and I can respect that and all this stuff. Chevy Chase, you guys mentioned him a couple times. I feel like it was like he wanted to work with Burt Reynolds or something. Like
maybe.
that's what it felt like.
Or
Like,
the
oh,
other
I've
way
never,
around.
yeah, I've never, or yeah, or like I've never worked with him. I'll do
friends
it.
with the director.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So we keep
Well,
bringing
and
him
that's what
up.
I was going to say, kind of when I was talking about 10, like they're a decade apart. It's not even like they were,
Right.
coming up at the same time or anything.
Yeah.
And I know Chevy Chase had some cooler roles, like in Caddyshack, he was like the cool guy. But basically, he's been a goofy, slapsticky kind of guy where Burt Reynolds has been the fucking cool guy.
Mhm.
So it's not, I don't see him, as friends in the real world, but they actually weren't supposed to be Chevy Chase and Burt Reynolds.
Right.
So,
Right. Yeah.
So
and
Tim, what
even
were you saying?
one
Go
thing
ahead,
I was
sorry.
thinking about Chevy Chase is Saturday Night Live had that 50th anniversary thing recently. Chevy Chase was there because at the end when they do everybody comes out on the stage and they play the music, he was on the stage, but he wasn't involved in a single skit. And it makes me wonder if Chevy Chase hasn't lost it to the point where he can't really act at this point. Like he's getting to be an older dude too. So I'm wondering if it wasn't just these guys know each other and they're friends, and let me get you in for a role while I'm doing a role while we're getting older, and maybe this will be our last stuff. Like maybe there was something sentimental about the reason they did it together.
Yeah. Yeah.
And here the other thing about that role, if you don't, sorry, Matt.
No, go ahead.
anybody else could have been in that role and it would have done the same.
Right.
Chevy Chase brought nothing to it that was
Right.
like, wow, I get it. I mean, Dom DeLuise is dead, so I'm trying to think of some of the people he's paired with,
Voight,
and
right?
yeah, that would have been great. John Voight could have been, or um, I remember some of the the end was. If you guys want to see a great Burt Reynolds, the end is really good.
Hmm.
Like, the cover, he's like got a gun to his head or whatever,
Yeah,
right?
he finds out he's going to die, so he's trying to kill himself, and it's him and Dom DeLuise, and Dom DeLuise takes it upon himself to kill him for him. So it was just hilarious. So, but anyways, sorry,
Yeah.
man.
No, it's okay. Yeah, I don't know how much else there is to say. I just liked it more than I thought. It's funny, somebody pointed out, I was reading some stuff that because he's talking to the characters from Smokey and the Bandit and
Deliverance.
yeah, Deliverance, that Burt Reynolds in this universe actually doesn't exist because only Vic Edwards exists. I thought that was kind of funny because
Yeah.
they kind of right. Um, yeah, and how so what I kept thinking this whole most of the movie was how did Burt Reynolds feel as he was making this? Because clearly it was about him or written for him, if you don't want to say it's about him. And regardless of how much was not true, there was definitely some kernels of truth in here. And like, what was his mindset going through this and reading the lines and like, oh yeah, like I did make some bad decisions. Oh yeah, I am kind of oh yeah, I did have four ex-wives and like it. So I wonder how, I don't know. And obviously he's gone now, so we'll never know, maybe unless he did some sort of interview afterwards. But um, and I thought he did do an interview. I don't have it up though. There was probably some quotes in there. Um, Clark Duke, by the way, hot tub time machine. Come on now.
Okay.
Aaron's not here right now, but and he was well, Aaron's not here, so he can't answer this. Was Aaron here for Bad
Hang on.
Moms? Oh, there you are.
I got the Bluetooth thing now, and I went with the one so I
Oh.
can hear myself talk.
Were you here for Bad Moms? Were you
I wasn't
for
here
that
for
movie?
Bad Moms, and I've never seen Hot Tub Time Machine.
Oh man, Hot Tub Time Machine's actually pretty good.
It
It's
is pretty
better
good.
than
I've
you would
heard.
think. But anyway, yeah, I don't know how much I'm gonna add beyond that. I thought it was really cool. I did look up some goofs just because I was looking through stuff. They accidentally left Burt Reynolds' name in the IMDb page, which I thought was kind of funny. I didn't notice it, but somebody said they accidentally left his name on it. And what was the other one? Oh, based on his birth date, if he was supposed to be a college football player in 1951, he would have been 15. They like messed up the birth date.
Oh.
He wasn't a sophomore in college. He would have been a sophomore in high school. But other than that, oh, and Jerry Glanville. Do you guys see Jerry Glanville? Do you guys know who Jerry Glanville is?
I know who he
The
is. He was
name,
in
but
the
I can't
movie.
think.
He is a college
Coach for
football
the-
coach. Yeah.
Oh.
Well, he was coach of the Atlanta Falcons for years
Yeah,
too, and then
for-
Yeah, that's right.
Oh.
and he was
Okay.
in the he was an
He was
announcer.
one of the guys in the lobby going, "Oh, you're
Oh,
Vic
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Edwards."
The
Oh,
two
yeah.
old guys that brought
Yeah,
him
the
in
two
for the
old guys.
wedding.
One of them was Jerry Glanville. I thought that was funny.
Okay.
Because I'm sure he knows him from those circles. But anyway, so yeah, I don't have much more to add. I really liked it. I would watch it again just to kind of pick up maybe some little nuggets that I missed. But yeah, good pick, man. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, kind of like what Matt was saying again. I think we've all said something about it. Just if Burt Reynolds wasn't involved in the making and writing and whatever, like I don't see him being oblivious to the person taking, I wouldn't call it shots at him, but the whole thing where, my career started off great. Act 2 kind of sucked.
Yeah.
I've done a real good job of screwing up Act 3 so far. He had to have, I want to say, been involved, if not help write, if not like, yeah, yep, you have to write that. Yep, that's good, kind of stuff, because it hit home too exact. But
All right. So let me share Wilden's thoughts. Just out of curiosity, Tim, I'm guessing would know this best. with my whole little order. Is Hilty older than Wilden?
Hilty is older than Wilden.
Okay. That was my guess. So I only had one off. All right. And by, I guess, 10 months or so. All right. So
I look older than Brian.
no, that's not it. Nobody looks older
Yes.
than Brian. But
Whoa.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Wow.
I'm having a good day here.
Shots fired.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jeez.
I don't, you guys have all this like years of history and all that stuff. So I don't know always the dynamic of everything, but I thought maybe Aaron and Tim were same year in school. And so that's kind of where I went with that. But anyway. All right. So Wilden says, really enjoyed the movie. Didn't know what I was getting into at first, which is funny. Matt said the same thing. I did seem to follow some basic movie tropes and the lessons the girl learns as she and Vic's odd couple relationship grow a little quickly, pushing the boundary of believable. There are a lot of self-congratulatory movies about Hollywood life. Despite my nitpicks, they didn't take away from my enjoyment of the movie. I liked the splicing of old Burt Reynolds into certain scenes. I liked the way the story wrapped up, kind of like what Aaron was saying. And the acting performances were solid for the most part, especially Burt Reynolds. Good pick. Glad I watched it. He also shared that he watched it on YouTube for free with ads. I watched it on Tubi, I think, with ads. But he was saying that watching it that way led to some funny moments that were not planned. There was Vic is about to give a scathing opinion. He says, and you know something? And then almost perfect cut to this Arby's beef brisket is really flavorful.
Nice.
Appreciate that, Mike. Another gut punch coming here. Do you guys know the original title of this movie?
Dog
Years.
Last Dog Days or last
It's Dog Years.
Dog. Yeah.
So sorry for that, but I thought it was interesting that because the reason I knew that I listened today to I almost went down this huge rabbit hole. There's the last interview is it's weird. It's like it's at least an hour and a half long, and it's the whole first half hour is two people who knew Burt Reynolds because of his theater work, and like he moved from Lansing down to Palm Beach Gardens, I think, or that area, Jupiter, when he was 5 or 6, and then in the 70s had a like dinner theater thing, and then later in life got re-involved with it and was very involved in like acting classes and all of that. So I had no idea of pretty much any of that. But the beginning of this thing, like it was the last interview and I'm watching it and like 30 minutes are going by. I'm like, where the hell's Burt Reynolds? There's no, but then you get to it and he gives this whole interview and it's interesting. Aaron kind of touched on this a little bit. I didn't get the impression at all. Like obviously his body was failing him a bit, being a former football player, stunt man, and then just being the age he was. But I didn't see any mental decline really. I'll say in the interview, there's a lot of times where there are a lot of questions that are asked, and then it just kind of goes off on a tangent a little bit. He doesn't like keeping everything really locked in. There was a little bit of evidence of that some things were happening there for him.
Do you have any idea when that last interview was? Was it because this was probably shot in 16, released in 17?
Well, it was after this movie came out, and like it was right after this came out, and then he died not long after. So I believe 2018.
I remember. So I like the scene of the Johnny Carson stuff that was on there. I was not a big Burt Reynolds fan back in the day. I don't know what it was. I thought he was, what's the word, smug? Because I did watch a lot of Johnny Carson. Whenever he came on there, like he never answered a question then either. He would do something that was like Yeah, I'm not going to answer that question and then talk about something else. So maybe it's a faculty thing, but maybe it's just a Burt Reynolds thing. Like, this isn't what I do. I don't answer interview questions.
It could be. He didn't come off as smug in this, but
Okay.
I know exactly what you're saying. The one thing that always stood out to me, I remember Win, Lose, or Draw. You guys remember that
Yeah.
TV show? Like,
Yeah.
that was how big they were. That it was just, we're so cool and fun that we're gonna do a show of you hanging out at our house on a Friday, kind of like. It was just, I don't know, it was a whole other level. Because I was kind of the same way. Like, I don't know, I got the coolness, I got
Yes,
all
for
of
sure.
that, but it wasn't. I didn't want to be Burt Reynolds, kind of. I don't know.
See,
So it's
I thought he was awesome. I thought he was the best tough guy, like
Oh, a lot of people
funny.
do. I totally
You
get
know,
that. Yeah.
yeah. And I get what you're saying about the smugness, but it's like, I don't know. As a kid watching him like that, I'm like, yep. And he gets
he
to
could
be
walk
like
the
that
talk.
because
Yeah,
That's true. That's all true.
he's not only funny in an action movie, he's funny in a funny movie. Like Brian was saying, Cannonball Runs were hilarious,
I did love those movies.
to
Yeah.
me. So
and the
I was
outtakes
like,
at the end of those they were the best. So
Wasn't he
Adam
the one who?
Rifkin. Oh,
It goes going back to the interviews. I don't know if it was Carson or not, but didn't he get into like a fight with Mark Summers from Double Dare?
oh,
Like
yes,
they threw water on each other or something at an interview. It's
yes.
like, this is the Nickelodeon
Right.
guy, and you're so pissed off at him, you're throwing water at him. Yeah, I remember that too. Just
God,
wanted to
now
throw
that you
that in
say
there.
it, I think I remember that.
That's like the bully and the nerd or something in high school kind of vibe, and the nerd stands up for himself, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Adam Rifkin directed this. I the name sounded really familiar, and I went back and looked at filmography and all this other stuff. Not a lot stood out. I never saw Detroit Rock City. I'm sure.
Nope.
Imagine I will stereotype. Oh, come on, it has Detroit.
Nope.
All right.
Isn't that
Hey.
the one where the buddies are trying to get to a Kiss concert?
Yeah, Eddie
Yeah.
Furlong from Terminator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never seen it.
Yeah, I don't have either. Okay, wow.
That's
What
funny.
else?
That's a clean sweep. And I just have never been motivated to see it. I remember it, but I was just like, eh.
I haven't either, for what it's worth. So I don't even know if that was good and he did good things, but it was just weird that I kind of thought I knew the name, but really nothing stood out. The one word I have underlined for this movie was inconsistent. There were a couple of moving monologues, specific two for Burt Reynolds. The one it's funny, the mom scene, like, I got it and I appreciate it. I didn't really kind of well up or anything. When he's talking to his ex-wife, that one definitely got me welled up a little bit. And then at the end, I really liked when he's accepting it, the award graciously. I thought that there was a lot there. And I can't remember exactly what it was, but Ariel Winter has one. There were two scenes. One, just acting wise, when she's going through all the medications,
Oh yeah.
that I think is one take. Like, that was impressive to me to just name all that stuff and do all that,
And it's side effects. And she's like,
Right.
and this did this to me, and this, and then they gave me this because I added this side effect
Right.
from this one. And yeah.
Yeah, like, I thought just a weird, I don't know, acting nerd thing. Like, I thought that was really impressive, not moving. But then there was something moving later that she did. It's funny. So over the last couple of years, we've been watching all of Modern Family. We never watched it first run. Now we're on the final season right now, and I don't know. She's kind of the one I'm least impressed with, I guess, how to say it. Like, and it's funny that granted, that character is way different than what this character is supposed to be, except for the anxiety is the through line. Like, it's very much the same. I don't see a whole lot of change. That's why I actually was really surprised later and appreciated what she did when there was she did have some stuff that was pretty good much later, where previously I hadn't been that impressed, just for what it's worth. we talked about this scene too. The stealing the old lady. I don't. It didn't. I'm trying to figure out how to say this. The only line she says is like, "Who are you?" And then there is this knowing moment, and they hug, and then they steal her. You know, but there's never. I don't know. I just didn't like it. As much as I wanted to, or they wanted me to, because I didn't have that surety that she knew what was happening. And then at the end of it, how does that go? Like it just felt like a selfish thing for him to have this closure.
Selfish
And
is the exact right word. And that's, and you kind of just made me think of it when the only thing she said is, "Who are you?" So I want to believe, and it's that thing that you said earlier, where we know where they're going, and we give them, we're very giving on. Yeah, we see the idea. The idea is we want to get her here, and she's going to remember, and it's going to be great. But what if they got her there, and he kisses her, and she says, "Who are you?"
Well, like Brian said,
And
then it's assault. Right.
it becomes a totally selfish, and it kind of was a totally selfish thing for Burt Reynolds because he wanted to do it. He thought it would be wonderful, and it could have went very wrong.
So I have another take on this, why I like that scene. But what we didn't get out of any of those scenes was her showing any recognition whatsoever. And we were told that by the assistant who came up and said Alzheimer's is further along than you might think, right? So we kind of knew. But what I thought what could happen is that while not knowing who these people are, that she might feel like this is a cool experience. Like it might have actually been a decent experience to have somebody put a ring on her finger and she just feels special for a moment, even though she doesn't know what's going on. So that was my take from that, was that she didn't recognize him, but she did enjoy, somebody being tender and putting a ring on her finger.
Yeah, like we've talked about, the intention was clearly a very positive thing, but I think, I don't know. Usually, I've talked about this. I don't like when it's heavy-handed, but I would have liked a little goodbye scene back at the nursing home.
Oh,
that she was in on it. Thank you for the day. Good to see you.
Say his name.
Anything.
Say
yes.
his
Anything. Yes.
Yeah.
Shlomo.
My mom said you were a dirty. No.
I liked so this was another thing where the inconsistent thing I thought I felt fit. The old clips, very cool. Like that was, but I don't know exactly what they accomplished in the movie or in his development. I mean, a little bit, but other than that was pretty cool that we, interwove that stuff. Wasn't that cool? The other one, just, I do this too much, but how long was that night? It was after 7 because they didn't let them in. Then they went to the hotel, got in there. They had dinner. She took a bath. Then they went back out later. Like, I don't know. And then she comes back in to find him. Like some of the timeline there just messed with me a little bit when it should. And usually when it gets too far, I'm like, all right, that's not what this is about. Just enjoy the movie. So yeah, I do think it was interesting. He's one of those guys that undoubtedly an icon, and so it's pretty cool that did this movie at this stage. That was part of it. So I did talk about it in the last interview. What was it? He talked about how he did have a lot of regrets over movies he had picked, choices he made, as opposed to others. I actually have a couple roles. So James Bond, Han Solo, and potentially Michael Corleone. The first two for sure he turned down.
Oh,
and the last one, he was a top contender for Michael Corleone. So that's his line was, I went for the role that looked the most fun, not the most challenging. And you kind of get that. He was definitely having fun during the 70s and 80s. So it was pretty cool. Oh, go ahead.
Did anyone notice though in those scenes where he was the deliverance scene and the smoking the bandit, he looked younger. It was like they were making him look older and more decrepit, and then when he was kind of dreaming or whatever, talking to himself, he didn't look as old. So I don't know. Like Aaron was talking about his faculties and such. I I think they kind of, they made him look a year or two older or a
I
little
thought so
more
too.
decrepit.
Yeah.
I thought he was actually a little bit in better health than we thought. Knowing now that we're seeing a movie and we know it's his last movie and he, that kind of thing, it's like, oh, look how bad he looked. But I think they made him look that way and he was actually better off than we thought.
See, I'm going to go the other way, and I thought it was I did notice the smoothness, and I thought it was just part of the CGI process where, like, you know, I
Push
guess it
that
would
up
be
too.
younger. They just didn't have the pixel case or polygon capability, for all his wrinkles. So he smoothed out a bit. But
Well, I've always
So,
been a glass half full kind of guy. So
Anybody want to take that one?
So, well, I'm going to move right back. So with those old clips, like I just kind of, obviously it was my perception, but I stated as fact. But I don't know, maybe I missed it. So I watched part of this last night, started it way too late, got tired, fell asleep, and then watched the majority of it today. But yeah, with those old clips, I'm trying to think of like what was the lesson learned or what did he overcome? Like some of the editing just seemed like it was cool they could do it, but it didn't necessarily line up completely as well as it could have to me. I don't know if maybe I'm missing anything or if anybody has anything on that.
I don't. I just kind of accepted them for what they were. One thing we haven't mentioned here is this is an A24 movie, and they kind of pride themselves on doing weird shit. And so some of these things that don't get explained, maybe it's just a production company thing, like, you know, to
Yeah.
be an A24 movie, you have to do some things that are not explained. Like, I don't know there's secret rules, for what makes the production the way they want it, but that's maybe there's something to do with that.
the only thing I would go with for the clips they used, they were by far, I don't know, I guess you could argue the Cannonball Run stuff, but they were by far his biggest box office, smashes. So not that he was best known for it, or whatever, but I don't know. That'd be it for me for those two. And they were probably easy scenes, where he was alone at length for a bit.
Well,
It
even
seemed
the
like
driving one kind of made sense. Like, okay, he's in the car and he's falling asleep, and then there's this, so okay, cool. But the deliverance one, and so like it's one thing to go through a journey and have some realizations and work through regrets or whatever. It's another to like have full on freaking hallucinations. Like, is he, like,
But the river flowing like time, he had to get that line in there,
yeah.
they tied that one in
He also
nice.
had to get in. You're a good looking guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that was the movie that made him a star, right?
Oh, well, probably.
I mean, what's before it?
Well, I'm not sure about that, but I was just gonna say if you
Shot.
think the end result of this movie is for him to realize that Act One and Act Two and the first half of Act Three went the way they did, this is, reflecting on what was I thinking when I was a young man kind of stuff. Because he doesn't just do that with the hallucinations. He talks about how many women he was with and the marriages and I was only in love once, like there's a lot of reflection going on there. And I think that was just, I don't know how it was supposed to play out. Like, was he hallucinating or was he just daydreaming? But he was definitely reflecting. And so I don't know. That's how I took those things.
I saw it as reflection too.
And with a stubborn young man who didn't want to hear it. Like, even if you could go back through time and tell him, the younger version
Right.
would be like, yeah, I don't, I don't know what you're talking about, old man. Fuck off. I got this thing to do.
And that's where like the problems I have with it are kind of the so you got Malo saying kind of like not being spoon fed everything that I don't need, heavy handedness. But there's also that we all agree with that, we kind of get where they were going with a lot of these things. It's just I get what they wanted to do with the CGI scenes. I get what they wanted to do with him talking about um, all the women I've slept with and all the love I've had. And there's something going on with they keep showing like all these people, the people who invited him to the film thing, the guys in the, even though it was kind of weird, he might have been having a heart attack, and they're like, yeah, we really loved you in that one movie, you know. So, and even, and there's something there, and I don't know if it quite landed with Lil talking about stop living in the past. Basically, you got all these people who love you now, just fucking accept it and embrace it and just be in the moment and stop. Yeah, but I used to be able to pay for this hotel. I used to be able to do this. And he can still walk in, and because of who he is, the manager's like, absolutely, Vic, we got you tonight, or whatever. So there was something there, and I just like this probably could have been, in my mind or whatever, B plus A minus movie, you know, but there was just too many misses like that where like, and it was things that I thought I saw where they were going and it didn't quite land, or maybe they never were trying to make that point and it was my fault, but it just, some things didn't work.
Yeah. Anything else?
I've been looking while we've been talking to try and get the Hilti numbers here, the budget and the gross. I can't find the budget anywhere, but it says that the guy who did I think the writing and directing is the same guy. You said his name, Milo.
Adam Rifkin.
Yeah, it took 7 years for him to get the financing to do this movie. Let's talk about the fact that they got it done, put it out, and then Burt Reynolds dies shortly after. Like, it took him 7 years to get the financing for this. I mean, how many movies have we had where somebody's trying to make something like this and the person dies and they're like, well, I guess I can stop trying to get the financing. I'm laughing about somebody dying. That's not nice. Um, I can't find the budget anywhere, but the gross for this movie was $14,410. I think that's what I'm seeing is 14, unless that's in.
In
I don't see that it's in
like
thousands or millions. I'm literally
that
seeing
can't-
$14,000.
All right. I Googled literally last movie star budget, and AI overview came up
Mhm.
with was reportedly made on a budget of 22 million.
I'm seeing box
What's
office
funny?
14,000.
What's funny with AI? Type in, I heard it was actually 14 million. And a lot of
That's what I
times
was
it'll be
gonna
like,
say, yeah, right.
you're right. It was 14 million
Oh,
because AI is terrible.
oh yeah. That's and usually, so I usually see these on Wikipedia, and it always has budget and box office, and I don't see budget anywhere, and it just says
I'm
box
seeing
office.
14,410. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
Well, I know I paid $4 for it tonight. So
yeah.
you
There's
cheap
Me
bastards
too.
watching
Me
commercials.
too.
Right. I can't do it.
There's no
I
way.
can't do the
I'm like,
commercials either, Brian. I can't
No
do it.
commercials for me. Yeah.
I
Tubi,
did look to,
Pluto.
it was, I, because of Tim, I started actually looking to see about purchasing too.
Yeah.
And it was like $15.
$14.99.
I'm
It was too much.
not,
Yep.
I'm not going on that risk on that one.
Yep.
And I could have got it from Prime for $3.69, but I paid $3.99 because fuck Jeff Bezos.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did.
He doesn't own Spotify, does he?
Not yet.
Probably on Zoom.
The feelings of Aaron Lashbrook do not necessarily reflect the feelings of everybody at the BTB movie club.
I did. You know,
Yeah,
I've told you guys I've cut back on the drinking, and it's a good thing. But the other night I had a night where I was drinking, and Woke up next day and I bought like 6 different movies on Amazon. Oh, I'm right in the middle of the Blade trilogy right now.
First
Thanks,
two are
man.
so, well,
Uh,
I like
yeah,
the third
no,
one.
that's a solid
Reynolds
trilogy.
Yeah, it is. The
Well,
second
what's
one's the weakest, but
That's what I
nice
was gonna
about
say.
this collecting all these is when we go on these golf trips, when we got to put the computer into the TV and go through my stuff, the other guys that are with us are going to have plenty of options to choose
yeah.
from with the my stuff. So, all
So a
right,
couple of things.
oh,
There's 2 movies. Burt Reynolds has 2 after this. The Miami Love Affair and Defending Moments.
hmm,
Or Defining
Oh,
Moments.
defining
It's
moments.
really
Yeah,
little. It's really little. So got to get the lenses right.
yeah, that
But
one
yeah,
looked
Defining
interesting.
Moments.
I do want to watch the I Am Burt Reynolds, the documentary too.
And where did that interview? You said it was just after this movie, but
I think I typed in Burt Reynolds documentary because my intent was to then watch the
oh,
I Am
right.
Burt Reynolds, and the
okay.
last interview popped up. So
I would think if you typed in Burt Reynolds documentary, this would come up because it's close
Yeah.
enough.
All right, it sounds like
So
we can put a bow on the last movie star. One question, maybe, do you guys, what's your thoughts on why is it called The Last Movie Star?
They changed it. The people who picked it up, A24, when they picked it up, they wanted a title change.
From dog years, you said,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But I mean,
So
what do you think? Why do we land on The Last Movie Star? Like, what makes him the last movie star? Or, you know, just the title is odd to me.
I I think it's an era kind of thing because
Hmm.
it's probably marketed towards people our age, and it's about a guy who we see as making this list that we put together, Tim.
Okay.
I mean, he, and not at the time of the making of the list, but he was still around. Like,
Okay, so different era is what you're saying, because
yeah,
clearly there's presently movie stars, but this was
I
that
would agree with
era,
that.
and we're looking at the end of an era as this guy passes away, kind of thing. I'll take that.
There was
okay.
such a separation too. There was like it was you were movie star or TV or and uh, that line is just gone now. I mean, whatever. I've got McConaughey and doing True Detective, and then there's a million things, right? There's so many different um, times where that's gone, but this and just the untouchableness, like I was talking, like the whole Johnny Carson stuff or the win loser draw, like he was like that level of huge, and the other ones they named Nicholson,
Mhm.
uh, Clint
Clint Eastwood.
Eastwood, and Bobby De Niro, like that's
And
you
like
know
Brian was saying, so Brian's mom, my Aunt Debbie, you know, Burt Reynolds is top shelf, untouchable. I don't know if so for our generation, our wives, Brian pick one. Is there an actor that would fall into this category that, you know, like my wife just is gaga for this actor? I can't name one for my
I don't have
wife.
one. Yeah, no. Maybe she keeps that from me. I don't know.
Right. And, but I do remember it being a thing. Like, he was, uh,
well, Channing
sex symbol.
Tatum.
She had a it factor for sure.
Danny Tatum was
Yeah,
that
but
right?
then you
I mean, the
see,
Magic Mike shit. And
Yep.
what Joe
Yep.
Magdalo, I love.
that's good. That's close.
Manganella.
Okay.
Yeah, but then you see, what's his name, who you just said get, dog walked on a leash by Danny
McBride.
McBride, and it kind of like, I think, peels away his. But I mean, maybe they like
Would
that too. I
would
don't know.
Matthew McConaughey be in that category?
Thought of Tom Cruise or like this
Yeah.
the biggest, and he's never.
I
I mean,
He's
for
never
the
done
record,
TV.
you guys have wives too, so you could jump in.
That's
Mhm.
hey. So
Just
to
because I have
answer,
had more options.
To answer Tim's original question, one of the producers said they settled on this name because they said, "What is it like working with Burt Reynolds?" And my comment would be, "It's like working with one of the last real movie stars from the old days." So we're pretty excited about it.
Okay,
Everybody
so we were in the
feels that
neighborhood.
it's a better fit.
I like that.
Yeah. So you guys were right on. Just that old school kind of feels like you're working with the.
My mom liked Barry Manilow, so I don't know. I don't know.
My mom
know?
did too.
I don't know.
So like I'd throw in Christy likes
Janet
God,
Jackson.
her, yes, absolutely. Jason Momoa.
Yeah.
All right. Would you put
Yeah,
him
he's
in
a
the
big one.
ballpark with Burt Reynolds as far as like acting or star? I know I would not. I would not put Jason Momoa in the same. I wouldn't put him in the same arena with Burt Reynolds.
So I would put him with like the popularity with the opposite sex because there's a lot of ladies who talk about Jason Momoa. So like for that category, as far as eye candy, yes, but for star power, which is what I think what you're referring to, no.
Right. I mean, what it's Adam Sandler movie, not the one that he's in, because he's in the remake of The Longest Yard, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But isn't it an Adam Sandler movie where like limo goes by or something happens and he goes, "Oh,
Wedding
must be
Singer or
Burt
something?
Reynolds." Say it again.
It's a Wedding Singer, maybe.
Yeah.
Something happens and he's like, "It must be Burt," or it
Yeah.
must be Burt Reynolds, or just because it's like a limo or something.
It's like a big deal, so it's got to be Burt Reynolds, right?
Right? Yeah.
Is
I
it the?
don't know.
Never mind.
But I mean, that's how big he is. It's like in the 90s, they were still referencing him as, "Oh my God,"
Mm-hmm.
here, there, lack of a better term, it'd be like, if it was the 90s, it could have been, Donald Trump, Nelly referring to him, Bill Gates, Donald Trump, they're like the biggest icons of people having money. Burt Reynolds is in that group of idolatry or iconotry or whatever it would be, mechanicy.
And sort of the
That's
era
right.
following up behind like the Dean Martin type guy,
whiskey,
right? Like this is a Dean Martin
Whiskey.
derivative.
Sorry,
Sorry.
Tim.
It's all right. I was just crushing some stuff there. It's all right.
Yeah, Dean
Just
Martin.
leave it out there.
The
I listen to
Cat.
the podcast here what Tim had to say.
Yeah.
Because he'll lower
it's
our
fine.
levels and bump his up.
Whatever I got to do, man. Whatever I got to do. Yeah. All right, let's call it a wrap on the last movie star, which is clearly a reference to the era of big star power movie stars. Matt, you are up next. Not today. Dan Sear
Right.
said he would give us his pick, and he has not done that. He's texted me a couple of times today, and they're pretty funny. I'll send those to you guys after we stop the record, or what the hell, I could do them now because he's not going to listen to it anyway. However, Matt, you will be up next time, and let me do a little randomizing here, and you will get an actress and an actor. And so the actress that you get is the fabulous. Oh, there's a lot you could pick from this one. Susan Sarandon.
Okay.
Very diverse career there. And the actor that you get is Sean Connery.
Oh,
Wow, you have a lot
bastard.
to pick from. You have a lot. This is a responsibility. Don't fuck this
Wow.
up, Matt.
I dare you to pick a Susan Sarandon movie.
It's a great one.
No, Sean Connery's too easy.
Ooh. That is a lot of responsibility there. So
I know what we'd be watching.
we
Highlander.
Highlander.
That's great.
I don't care if not one of you guys liked it. I don't care what you say about it. There's no
I
discussion.
wish
How is
We
that
had
different
fun.
from any other week that we have this?
I
I'm
remember
surprised-
trying to watch that in high school and I fell asleep and I never went back to it. And I know it was supposed to be like this cool thing and I just never made it through.
Surprised Brian didn't say Blue Beetle.
Ooh.
That's a good Sarandon movie.
Do your research. All right, that'll do it for this week's episode of the BTB Movie Club podcast. Tune in next time, and I would tell you what movie we're about to watch, but Dan didn't text it to me, so we'll find out in the near future. Have a good week, everybody.
That'll do it for this episode of the BTB Movie Club podcast. Thank you as always for listening. We know we enjoyed ourselves. We hope you did too. Have yourself a great week. We are partnered with the SPDM Crew Podcasting Network.